Hey guys, it's Graham. What's cracking? This is my review of Not a Penny More, Not a Penny Less by Jeffrey Archer from 1976. But before we get into that, let me just remind you that I'm currently running a charity crowdfunding campaign to try to replace my brother's car that exploded a couple of weeks ago. Big thanks to you guys who have pulled together and gotten us very close to 600 in the first couple of days. I set the goal for 5,000, but even if we get like 2 or 3,000, if we're fortunate enough to get that, I'd be grateful, and I'm sure he would too. If you would be so kind as to share it out, just don't tag me in it anywhere online because he doesn't know that I'm doing this for him, that I'm running this thing, and I'm trying to keep it a secret. I think that he might be bugged if I was, but if we get to the point where like you guys have raised a couple thousand for him, I think he would mind a little bit less. It's just that it's weird, but I'm trying to surprise him, and I need you guys' help to do that. So, all right, on to the review. A couple of weeks ago, when I was in Arizona visiting my nana, we got to talking about books because I am nothing if not predictable. She just turned 89 this year, and she has read a lot more books than I have. And I'm over 1,900. I only know that number because I use Goodreads for all of its flaws. She says that that was one thing that she wished she had done while she was reading, that she had maybe kept track of what she'd read and what she learned from it, because she's read so many books, but very few of them stand out to her in her memory. Like she's read legitimately 4,000 books in her lifetime. I said, well, what's one that does stand out to you? And she told me this title, but she didn't tell me any plot details or whatever. She just said that this is one that I've enjoyed reading over the years. So I picked it up. The library had it. It was a pretty short audiobook. I want to say at regular speed it'd be 7.5 hours. Because I was working the night shift and I got a little bit tired, I had to kind of like pause it and listen to some music for a minute to wake up until the sun came up. The narrator did a fine job. It was just, he was also lulling me to sleep. The premise is that there's this investor who rips off a bunch of people who have put money into his fund, and he absconds with it. He uses a paper company. This is all set in the middle of the 20th century, so I'm pretty sure the story was like contemporary when it came out in the 70s. And these four otherwise wealthy people are left with nothing, and they find out that they were all stiffed by the same guy, and so they get together and they say, we're all going to coordinate and work on a revenge plan to get our money back out of this guy. If we've got to bankrupt him or whatever, we're going to get our money back. But here's the thing, we're not here, hence the title, we're not going to get a penny more or a penny less, we're just going to get full restitution. And so it's this almost like whimsical revenge heist adjacent plot that reminded me a lot of it's a little bit of a Wodehouse type story where like the writing is really whimsical. It's a little bit Agatha Christie. It's a little bit Ocean's 11. The writing is very prosaic and beautiful. It's set kind of in England and kind of here on the East Coast as people kind of jet set around. One of the guys is a doctor. Another one of the guys is younger, and he ends up dating the daughter of the guy who ripped everybody off, and it's a bit of a comedy of errors, and it works very, very well. And the ending is not one that I saw coming. There's a little bit of, I wouldn't even say that it's like dry spells. There's a couple of spots in it where the narrative of the story slows down to explain certain financial mechanisms that you only need to understand so that you get like how the story works and how this guy ripped everybody off and how they plan to get back at him. But other than that, like, it all moves at a good clip, and even the ending was, I don't know, abrupt seems like a negative word. I would say swift to give it a positive spin. It all comes about very quickly, but also neatly, and it's all very tidy and amusing and lighthearted. If you could imagine like being ripped off by somebody, you'd feel a little bit of distress in this kind of story, but the way that it's all played, it's very satisfactory. Satisfying, I guess, is what the kids say these days. Content-wise, like there's a couple of blasphemous exclamations, but nothing really beyond that stands out. But good little story. Not a penny more, not a penny less. It's the kind of thing that, like, maybe it's been adapted to film or stage or something over the years. I could see it being a really entertaining visual production. So check that out. Let me know what you think of it. And till next time, drive safe. See you out there.